Your mock 4.0.
Yeah.
You ready to get down to business?
Yeah, I think the internet's going to really like this one. Of all my mock drafts, I think the internet's going to like this one.
The internet will be broken once you release this. So let's start with that number 1 pick in the draft. Those Cleveland Browns, they will take Myles Garrett. An explanation, please.
Yeah, I mean, who's not putting Myles Garrett number 1? Myles Garrett is the most explosive player in the draft with the most explosive potential. But I've got to say this. There is a floor on Myles Garrett. And too many people just focus on the high side. But there's enough tape in there that makes you say, well, there's a chance that he may not turn into Julius Peppers. So amazing talent, but that motor needs to stay clicked all the time.
Okay, he drips explosivity. Let's put it like that. Now with the second pick, San Francisco 49ers, you had them going with Solomon Thomas.
Motor not an issue for Solomon Thomas. I mean, this guy wrecks shop from the interior, can play a little bit of on the outside. I know DJ and I talked about this, I guess right around bowl season. You got to figure out if you're going to play him inside or outside. Really, the answer is you probably start him outside and you bump him inside on pass rush downs.
Okay, now how about number 3, the Chicago Bears? I know Phil Swirsky and the super fans loving Marshawn Lattimore.
I love Marshawn Lattimore too. I think the guy's great in terms of matching up with routes. He is a tremendous athlete, very fluid. Only 1 year as a starter. That's going to bother some teams because he hasn't played a whole lot of football. But I think the athleticism is there to be a very good cover corner on the next level.
All right, Lance, with the 4th pick, the Jaguars, they will be selecting in that slot. And the guy we saw at the beginning of the show, Leonard Fournette.
Big Leonard, if you want a guy that you can strap on the feed bag and let him eat, that's going to be Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
Big, physical, explosive, and rare physical ability. You look at the tape there, I mean, it's just, he's a freak daddy when it comes to size and speed.
Myles Garrett, Solomon Thomas, Lattimore, and Fournette. But how about 5 through 8? Who jumps off the page here, Lance?
Well, listen, I mean, jumping off the page for me is going to be Jonathan Allen at 5. If you've got a chance to go get a pass rusher, you go get a pass rusher. And it's rare to find an interior rusher like Jonathan Allen available. Why not go grab him if you're Tennessee?
Now we're going to move on to the 9th pick where the Bengals select Taco Charlton, Lance.
Yeah, if we're talking about nice pairings, how about Taco Charlton to Cincinnati? I mean, these guys have a taste for long-limbed edge rushers. Carlos Dunlap, Margus Hunt, a little less edge on Margus Hunt, and of course, Michael Johnson in the past. And Taco Charlton fits what they look for. I think he is an upside player. He's not where he needs to be. He's more projection than production. But I really like the potential of Taco Charlton on the next level as a pro.
It's like Chilean sea bass with a nice red blend, Lance. How about the 10th pick? The Buffalo Bills and Mitchell Trubisky?
Mitchell Trubisky is more of a Beaujolais, I would say, in this particular case with the Buffalo Bills. They need quarterback, and there's all this smoke about, is it Trubisky? Is it going to be a guy like Deshaun Watson? I guess we'll find out, but I know they need a quarterback. They've been in quarterback purgatory forever. They're trying to get out, and I'm going to place Mitchell Trubisky here. I like the quarterback, but 1 year as a starter and not quite the arm that I thought I saw on tape whenever I watched him at the Combine and his pro day work.
After Trubisky, Reuben Foster, I would love to see him in a Saints uniform and what he could bring to the table. What else jumps out to you on this board here, Lance?
Well, I'd say Corey Davis. You know, Arizona was strong at wide receiver at one point. Now all of a sudden they're much, much weaker. Larry Fitzgerald is on the back end. I think Davis really fits what they need there. And another guy, I think, is Ryan Ramczyk with the Colts. They need to build the offensive and defensive fronts. They've talked about that. Ramczyk, I think, is the safest offensive lineman, certainly the safest tackle in the draft.
We move on to pick number 17. Lance, you have the Redskins taking Dalvin Cook.
I love Dalvin Cook here, and Washington's been saying they want a playmaker. So I think John Ross is potentially in play here, and so is Christian McCaffrey. But to me, Dalvin Cook is that guy. And I think if you can get past any concerns you have about his shoulders or the off-field stuff, to me, Dalvin Cook might be the best pure running back in this draft.
Okay, you just went with Mr. 4.22 John Ross. You don't have him going 17. You have him going 18 to Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee could use a deep threat, certainly not only for Marcus Mariota, but I think to help that running game out. There's nothing better than a guy with this kind of speed to back those safeties off the line of scrimmage. It fits the ground and pound mode for Tennessee, and it gives them a deep threat who will keep safeties honest.
Well, I know that one Jameis Winston, he would have loved Dalvin Cook, but according to your mock, you have the 19th pick, Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking Derek Barnett.
So Tampa needs an edge guy. Tampa also, they love production, and it doesn't get much better in terms of production from the SEC than Derek Barnett. 3 years of really strong production, very powerful, great hands, not the most athletic, explosive guy, but I just think a really good quality football player.
How about with the 20th selection, you have Christian McCaffrey going to the Rockies?
Look at this. Christian McCaffrey, Eddie's boy comes home. I don't think it's a big stretch if he's there. I think John Elway would have to consider Christian McCaffrey. Could fit into maybe a 14 to 15 carry a game mode, and then get you about 5 to 6 catches as well, get you 20 touches a game. Fantasy owners will love him over there, and I think it would really help the development of Paxton Lynch as well.
The elusive Christian McCaffrey. You have him going number 20. Now we take a look at 21 through 24. Those are the ones that really jump off the page. And the offensive lineman out of Tuscaloosa, Cam Robinson, he's been generating tons of buzz, Lance.
Yeah, second offensive lineman off the board, second tackle off the board. The Giants are in a position where they might be backed into a corner where they almost have to draft a tackle. Eric Flowers is not getting it done. He should have been moved to guard earlier. And I think Cam Robinson would fit here, but he's not a surefire thing as a pass protector or run blocker. So, kind of precarious a little bit. A lot of talent, but 23, that concerns me a little bit.
We're going to move along to that 25th pick, Lance, because you have the Houston Texans taking Deshaun Watson.
First time in all my mocks I've had a quarterback there. And here's what it boils down to. The Texans just hosted Pat Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. They need a quarterback. We know that. I think they could potentially move up in the draft to secure one. But Watson feels like a pick for Bob McNair, the owner. He's a high football character, high personal character player. He's got production on the field. He's coming off of the great, back-to-back games against Alabama year after year. And at the end of the day, the Texans have to get a quarterback who can be a face of the franchise. And I think Watson has that. There are some weaknesses, but there's a lot of strengths to build on from a personality and from, a leadership standpoint.
All right, Lance, what about the Seahawks at 26? You haven't taken Takk McKinley?
Boy, if Tack's there, it's because he's fallen a little bit because of the shoulder surgery, but he fits the mold of what the Seattle Seahawks look for on the edge. Explosive and a lot of upside.
Finally, at 27, you have the Chiefs selecting a guy with an arm as big as all outside Pat Mahomes.
I mean, if there's not a better quarterback for Andy Reid to try to shape, I don't know who it would be. I mean, Pat Mahomes fits that mold. He's a little bit of a gunslinger, and he obviously has, some mistakes that he'll make. But when you watch him on the field and the way he operates with the ball in his hands and just when he's walking around, pregame, postgame, tremendous swagger and confidence. I think he would be a great fit for the Kansas City Chiefs to mold behind Alex Smith.
That's right, Lance. Check out his swag. He walks like a ball player. Now, that's 25 through 27. How about 28 through 32? Who's the cat's pajamas here, man?
I think the one that stands out would be Kevin King for me. Kevin King, the Green Bay Packers really struggled at cornerback. He's fast, he's explosive, and he's a tall corner. He fits what Ted Thompson likes out of the cornerback position. He would be one, and of course, Forrest Lamp, I think, is a fantastic right guard fit for the Atlanta Falcons, one of the safest players in the draft as well.